and private companies to do it.
These bills will fund SNAP for the entire fiscal year. They will fund WIC for the entire fiscal year. And they will fund our veterans for the entire fiscal year.
The longest government shutdown in U.S. history could soon be over. The agreement in the Senate to work toward reopening the government, and why some Democrats are frustrated with members of their own party. Plus,
as I was shouting, "Don't shoot it, don't shoot it."
A police officer in San Francisco shoots and injures a man and a dog, what investigators say led to the moment shots were fired. Then, remembering an icon and trailblazer in the Bay Area, the memorial being held today for Belva Davis, one of the first black women in the country to work as a television journalist. Her impact here at KTVU and beyond.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Good morning and welcome back. I'm Gassia Mikaelian.
And good morning, I'm Dave Clark. Welcome to Monday. It's November 10th. Did you see the sky coming in?
Well, I came in the middle of the night by most people's standards, but I can see behind us there's a soft golden glow.
It was beautiful.
A mild Monday.
Yeah. Steve's here with the forecast on that and beyond.
Well, we do have a lot of high clouds, but it's still going to be a warm day here. Mostly sunny, mostly fair. When I throw in the towel, I say mostly fair. So mostly sunny, mild to warm, hazy skies. We have a little inversion, warm air aloft. There's an offshore breeze, so it's going to translate in another day of well above average temps. This may be it for the 80s, though. I mean, by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday, temps are going to drop off the table here. 47 Santa Rosa, 49 Palo Alto. There are some higher clouds. The city's at 60. The high today, 78. Average is 65, 52, way above on both here. 82, 1955, the record an inch, and 37 100ths fell on the state in 1972. Maybe you remember that. Except for the higher clouds, we're all set. A lot of changes start tomorrow, and really big changes Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday. Rain, and looks like the first good snow of the season for the mountains is on track, but not until later in the week. So no November rain yet. We get lots of fair skies and temps near 80 degrees one more day. 70s and 80s on this panel. Tomorrow they'll start to come down a little bit. All right, Sal is here, and he's talking about what?
We're talking about the commute in Contra Costa County, and for some reason my maps have, well, there we go. I just had to push that button. All right, the commute in Contra Costa County. Highway 4 westbound. If you're driving westbound from Antioch to Concord, it's slow from Railroad to about Willow Pass, and then 680 is beginning to get a little bit slow right at 242. There's a grass fire reported, by the way, on 242 right near Highway 4. The fire department is on the way. This is a look at the Richmond Bridge. That looks okay. The Bay Bridge is backed up beyond the maze. That's a 20-minute plus delay before you make it onto the span. At 7:02, let's get right back to the headlines.
All right, Sal, thank you. At 7:02, the U.S. Senate tentatively approved a measure that could be the beginning of the end of the longest government shutdown in American history.
KTVU's Andre Sr. live here with last night's vote and what will be happening next in this effort to reopen the government. Andre.
Garcia, Dave, good morning to you both. Last night's vote was 60-40, and it came during a rare weekend session of the U.S. Senate. But this vote has clearly not ended the political battle on Capitol Hill right now. 8 moderate Democrats joined 7 Republicans, voting to advance a short-term funding plan that had already been approved in the House. The deal came together after Republicans agreed to a future vote on extending federal health care subsidies. That was the main sticking point in the stalemate that triggered the shutdown 41 days ago. However, many powerful Democrats strongly oppose the deal that includes the newly elected senator from here in California.
Funding bill has nothing in it to help people afford their health insurance. That bill has nothing in it that's going to bring costs down. That bill has nothing in it that's going to make sure that people with pre-existing conditions can afford their health insurance.
The agreement reached last night ensures laid-off federal workers will get their jobs back and get back pay, too. It would also keep federal food assistance benefits funded through the next fiscal year. But one political expert says Senate Democrats gave up way too much following several weeks of political gridlock.
Given what the Democratic leaders were saying about we're going to fight for the Affordable Care Act subsidies. And what do they get for it? Well, we get the promise of a vote in December in the Senate and nothing else.
Well, later this morning, the U.S. Senate returns to Capitol Hill to take a final vote on this bill. If senators approve the measure, it would then head back to the House, a process that will likely take several days. Members of the House have been out of session since September 19th. House members have now been told to expect a vote this week. Now, a possible vote by the House of Representatives is not the final step here. President Trump would also have to approve that proposal before the federal government, Gossi, can officially reopen again.
Andre, thank you. One Bay Area congressman is already demanding change at the very top of the Democratic Party. South Bay Representative Ro Khanna posted on social media, Senator Schumer is no longer effective and should be replaced. If you can't lead the fight to stop health care premiums from skyrocketing for Americans, what will you fight for? Khanna is the first of the progressive wing of the party to call for Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to be replaced. Schumer voted no on the agreement with Republicans. Some progressives, though, appear to blame him for the deal. One union representative of TSA agents is among the many hoping the government shutdown will come to an end soon. He says airport security agents across the country are feeling stressed because they're not getting paid.
We know for a fact that almost on a daily basis, people are quitting because they cannot afford it. They have to take other jobs on to make a living. When you go to Fry's, when you go to Walmart, when you go to Safeway or Albertsons, any of them, right? You go to check in line. Are they going to take a letter as a payment? No.
The union rep says many TSA workers are calling out sick because they no longer have money to pay for gas to drive to work.
Our time is now 7:05. New this morning, President Trump is giving pardons to several people involved in alleged plots to overturn the 2020 election. U.S. pardon attorney Ed Martin said on social media, President Trump is pardoning 72 people. That list includes former Trump lawyers Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell, former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and more. It does not include a pardon for Donald Trump himself. Many of the people listed are also charged in the state case in Georgia, which is not covered by a federal pardon.
San Francisco's district attorney's office is investigating a police shooting near Union Square. It started when police say someone was bitten by a dog and flagged down officers in the area of Market and O'Farrell. While trying to control an unleashed German Shepherd and its owner, one officer opened fire, hitting both the man and the dog. The man went to the hospital. The dog ran away and then returned, biting one of the officers. Animal control eventually took custody of the dog.
As I was shouting, don't shoot it, I saw another guy over there saying, shoot it. So there was some other person involved who maybe had been attacked by the dog or something, I'm not sure. But ultimately, we were all standing there. The cop basically chased the homeless guy and the dog like 100, 200 yards that way. And we were all shouting, please don't shoot it. And then literally like 30 seconds later, we heard 2 gunshots.
The person who was first bitten by the dog went to the hospital for treatment. The officer who was bitten was treated there at the scene.
Our time is now 7:06. Happening today, we are honoring the life and legacy of pioneer broadcaster Belva Davis, the first African-American woman on television on the West Coast. KTVU's James Torres is at Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, where the memorial will take place at 11 o'clock this morning. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Dave. Yeah, a piece of history, not just for the Bay Area, but here for us at KTVU. Belva Davis passed away earlier this year, back in September. She was 92 years old. And today is the chance to honor her life, celebrating her life, and honoring the legacy, the legendary career that she had left behind here for several decades. Now, Miss Davis began her TV career in the 60s at KTVU, covering a beauty pageant. She became one of the nation's first black women on air and the first on TVs on the West Coast. She often covered stories while simultaneously facing racism and discrimination. She worked for a number of Bay Area TV stations throughout her career and became well known for hosting This Week in Northern California, a program on KQED. When she passed, we spoke to some of her colleagues and closest loved ones who say Belva Davis was nothing short of a trailblazer.
And I like to say that Belva was not only a trailblazer for African-American women, but she was for all women on television. We all owe her a great debt of gratitude.
Belva Davis spent her final days with her husband of more than 60 years, their 2 children, and her grandchild. Her memorial at Grace Cathedral here begins at 11 o'clock this morning. You'll be able to watch that live. KTVU will be streaming it. Watch it with us on KTVU Fox 2 or on the Fox local app. We're live this morning in San Francisco. I'm James Torres, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
James, thank you. It's 7:08 right now. Let's go right to the Bay Bridge and talk about the MacArthur Maze. That's where it starts. Things are getting a little better. Earlier in the morning, we had a little bit of a problem on the bridge commute, but that's been taken care of. San Mateo Bridge is pretty heavy as well. Heading west, I will tell you the traffic is going to be busy. We've been looking at some of these commutes in the East Bay, and I will tell you the traffic on 880 South is slow as it normally is from 238 on down to Fremont near Stevenson, and 680 is slow from Bernal as you drive down toward Vargas Road. 7:09. Let's get back to the desk.
All right, Sal, thank you. Well, the East Coast had several earthquakes over the weekend, while geologists say there's no need to worry. Plus,
I remember my very first day of work, so yes, it went by really, really quickly.
34 years in the classroom coming to an end, how we were able to surprise a beloved teacher in Livermore and what he marks as the biggest changes he's seen in public education.
Jacoby & Myers has been a proud part of the California community since 1972. We've stood by our neighbors, helping hundreds of thousands of families get the justice they deserve. Whether it's fighting insurance companies or fighting for you in court, we'll stand up for you. At Jacoby & Myers, we know the stakes, your family, your health, your future. For over 50 years, we've been California's trusted name in legal care. If you've been injured, call us today at 1-800-5-MILLION, because you deserve justice.
Welcome back to Mornings on 2. Time now 7:13. New this morning, the Supreme Court just rejected a call to overturn the landmark decision that legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. The Supreme Court turned away an appeal from Kim Davis, the former Kentucky court clerk who refused to issue marriage licenses after that ruling in 2015. The court did not explain why it rejected that appeal. Well, protests are expected tonight at UC Berkeley as Turning Point USA holds its final tour of college campuses. on the university's campus. The event will be at Zellerbach Hall. It'll also mark 2 months since Turning Point's founder, Charlie Kirk, was shot and killed during an event at a university in Utah. UC Berkeley says there will be extra security out there ahead of tonight's event. And today, San Mateo County holds a public candidates forum for the finalists to be the next sheriff. The finalists are Kenneth Bender, the interim police chief for Gilroy, David Lazar, a former San Francisco police assistant chief, and Brian Wynn Travis, the chief of police for Solano Community College District. Supervisors say they'll pick a new sheriff on Wednesday.
This school year is a special one for a teacher in Livermore, one I got to know several years ago when he asked if I'd do what ended up being an annual virtual reading for his class. When he asked me at the start of this school year, he said this year would be his last. He's retiring. So we launched a plan to help make sure it was special.
Oh my gosh, you're like...
Surprise, Mr. Cannon! How are you?
I'm good.
It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you.
You want to do a reading?
Yes.
Let's do it. There is not much that surprises Bill Cannon after 34 years of teaching, all but the first at Rancho Las Positas Elementary School in Livermore. But on a day he was expecting a virtual reading for his second grade class, we showed up in person. Friday is errand day. Mr. Cannon has taught well over 1,000 children over the years, some of them part of the KTVU family. Assignment manager Kelly Hollinger's twins, Bella and Ryan, and senior video editor Mike Cerruti's son, JD. While they and all the others have grown up and moved on, Mr. Cannon has stayed. This year is his last.
I remember my very first day of work, so yes, it went by really, really quickly.
How has the job of teaching changed over these 34 years?
I think it's not just about teaching math and writing and reading anymore. There's a lot of social, emotional things. Technology is huge. Kids also tend to have shorter attention spans. So I've had to adapt to in my teaching style to make sure that I'm keeping them interested.
Mr. Cannon decided to be an educator after he saw a teacher at his high school connect with struggling teens and change their lives.
I like him when he teaches me math and when he does art for kids hub and when we do art. He lets us have extra recess. He does the assemblies and he's nice and kind.
He's had many students from previous years, some of them now teachers themselves, come back to say thank you. What do you think about 34 years?
I'll be pretty old.
I never wanted anyone to say, it's time for you to retire, so I wanted to go out when I was still, doing a good job.
Amid marking milestones, the last assembly, final parent-teacher conferences, Mr. Cannon is spending as much time as he can with his students before the bell rings one last time.
All right, thanks guys. All right, go play.
I could have stayed there all day.
I know you could.
Can I tell you? Mr. Cannon says he credits his growth mindset for being able to stay ahead of all the changes he's seen in the classroom. He says being a teacher is the only job he could imagine where you get to laugh every day. He's so grateful for all the love he's received from his students for these 34 years, and he really is marking this last year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the last rally, the last Halloween. I mean, he is really taking it in. He's doing it right.
You found a good one.
Well, we're lucky that he found us.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah.
Congratulations. All right, time is 7:18. Sal is back, still watching our commute. Are they behaving for you out there?
I would say sort of, Dave and
Sort of.
Garcia, sort of. There is some slow traffic, of course. People who drive on 880 wouldn't say they're too happy, but they're not. I mean, at least there's no crash yet. Southbound 880, 238 to Fremont. It's slow. It's what you might expect if you're heading south on 680 as well. Let's talk about the Bay Bridge. That is backed up a little more than usual because of some earlier issues. And take a quick peek at the Richmond Bridge. That's backed up just west of Harbor to the toll plaza. 7:18. Let's bring Steve back with today's weather.
Sal Campolindo defeated Miramani 25-22 on Friday night.
All right. You know, my Reardon Crusaders won the WCAL.
Who did they beat?
Sarah High School.
And who famous went to Sarah, Sal? I can't think who that was.
Yeah, some people. Tom Brady.
Oh, I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, you've heard of him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So the Reardon won it for the first time in 25 years.
How about that? All right. Campolindo finishes at 8-2. I went there a long time ago. One-room schoolhouse. All right. We are going to go from fair skies, warm and hazy, to rain, wind, and a much colder pattern by the time we get to Thursday night and Friday. This will be the atmospheric reset I've kind of been looking for. You need some cold temps in the mountains to make snow. They'll get snow from Mother Nature, but they want those cold temps so they can make it. Mostly sunny. It'll be hazy and warm today, and there you go. Mr. Clark said there's a nice sky out there. There it is. A few high clouds. Mostly fair out there except for those higher clouds. There's 40s to 60. The city's at 60. The normal low for November 10th is 52. We're way above, and I'm going 78 for a high. Average is 65. 82, 1955, the record high. 43, 1994, not that long ago. 1.37 fell on this date in 1972. Higher clouds, I think, are thinning out, so we'll be sunny, mostly sunny, but that cloud cover to the west-southwest will start to move in here tomorrow. It's got a little bit of a tropical tap. That's kind of the key going forward here. We'll see how much convergence there is with the system coming in from the north. Everything is saying, though, pretty good rain starts late Wednesday into Thursday morning, then off and on Thursday night into Friday with a colder air mass coming in, which will certainly help. No November rain yet, but it's on its way for later in the week. Today, fair and warm. Highs near 80 for one more day. Upper 70s to low 80s.
All right, Steve, thank you. Time 7:20 for the 49ers. Boy, it was a brutal loss to the LA Rams. We'll tell you why the 49ers' injuries may have finally caught up to them, just as the Rams, their division rival, are heating up. Welcome back to Mornings on 2. Time now 7:23. This is a Kevin Pender special. A beauty shot of the Golden Gate Bridge, and you can see how clear it is out there. It is definitely a beautiful Monday morning to start this new week. Kevin Pender, thank you. Meantime, in other news so far, no reports of damage after a swarm of minor earthquakes in the San Ramon area over the weekend. The USGS says the quake started shortly after 9:30 yesterday morning. They continued for more than an hour. There were several dozen small quakes. The largest one was about 3.8. The quakes caused some pretty tense moments for a lot of people in the East Bay communities of San Ramon, Danville, and Dublin.
Windows were shaking, the flowers were shaking. My husband ran in from the other room and was like, "Did you guys feel that?" So yeah, it was a big one.
I felt it too. Seismologists say these series of quakes hit on the Calaveras Fault, but they don't think it's a sign that there'll be more serious shaking in the areas in the days ahead.
The significance of a cluster of small earthquakes like this is probably just that it's a reminder that it is an active fault. The odds are very low that these are force shocks for a major earthquake.
Now, the quake expert says he's more concerned about the nearby Hayward Fault, considered one of the most dangerous fault lines in the world. And it's long overdue for a big quake.
The 49ers will face the Arizona Cardinals on the road next weekend after San Francisco's first division loss of the season. The LA Rams defeated the Niners 42-26 at Levi Stadium yesterday. It was a record-breaking day for Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford. He's now the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 4 touchdowns and no interceptions in 3 straight games. Niners coach Kyle Shanahan spoke after his team's loss.
Just told them, guys, it wasn't good enough. You know, as bad as it was at times, you know, I still believe if, you know, we convert that 4th and 1 in the first half and we don't turn it over on the other drive, it's a 2-score game, and I believe we're right in that. I told them I believe that we can find a way to win any game that we're in. But if we hurt ourselves like that, 7 penalties to 0, not getting off on 3rd down.
The Niners are now 6-4. They're in 3rd place in the NFC West behind the Rams and Seahawks.
Our time now 7:25. Caltrain is moving ahead with its cost-cutting plan to reduce a growing budget deficit. The Bay Area's commuter rail line plans to drop its discount for Clipper card users it's been offering riders for the past 13 years. It's also considering more fare hikes and possible service cutbacks to boost their revenue. Caltrain says it's still losing money despite a recent surge in ridership, and it's now electric trains, all because of rapidly rising costs. Well, locking in your mortgage rate for the next 50 years. We'll tell you about a proposal from the Trump administration to find a way to make homes more affordable.
The legal battle over federal food benefits intensifies. The new ruling this morning pushing back against the Trump administration's efforts to claw back funding.
As someone who travels a lot, I definitely have been checking the news way more than I usually am about the flight delays.
Well, the number of flights are still being cut at airports here in the Bay Area and around the country. The impact that could have on holiday travel if the government shutdown continues. And from artificial intelligence to the electricity required for it and cleaning up city streets, we are sitting down with San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan live about the big problems facing the South Bay.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Well, good morning, and thank you for joining us. Welcome back to Mornings on 2. I'm Dave Clark.
I'm Gassia Mikaeli, and it's a busy Monday, November 10th, and weather is changing. We had rain last week. What's up ahead? We're not holding on to this warm, sunny weather, are we?
We're holding on to today, and then after that changes. Today will be warm, but by Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, you'll notice a huge plunge on the temps, and rain is on the way with mountain snow, but not today. If you like those 80s on the weekend, there will be more again today than after this. It's going to be a dramatic change. There are some higher clouds up above, maybe a little fog on the Santa Cruz coast there, kind of sneaking up, but there you can see the higher clouds there. 40s for 50. The city's actually dipped to 59. So, I mean, I have to change that, but I just saw it. 78, 59 is the low average. Is 65, 52, way above on both, and 1.37 fell on the state in 1972. The higher clouds looks like they've thinned out, but there'll be some kind of filtering through, but no big deal. It'll be mild to warm today. Then big changes are on the way. Rain and mountain snow is in the mix here for about Wednesday night into Friday. So for today, though, no November rain yet, but it's on its way, but you have a couple days yet. Few high clouds, lots of high clouds, mostly fair and warm, near 80 on the temps, upper 70s, 80s. But by the time we get to Friday, we'll probably have upper 50s and low 60s. All right, Sal is here, 731, a bridge, a freeway. We are off to where?
We are off to Marin County. I want to give some love to some of my peeps in Marin. South 101, we're going to start there from about Roland Boulevard near the Costco there all the way down to about the Civic Center. Not quite all the way, but most of the way. It gets better by the time you reach Central San Rafael. Highway 4 slows at Railroad. 680 slows at 242. These are all typical backups. The Richmond Bridge seems to be getting better earlier these days, and the Bay Bridge is backed up to the Maze. 732, let's get back to the headlines.
Sal, thank you. A tentative deal on Capitol Hill to end the government shutdown has not ended frustration at the nation's airports. Right now, there are 2,700 delays and 1,900 cancellations at airports nationwide. Those numbers higher than usual. KTV's Devin Truby live here at SFO this morning to share the situation there, Devin.
Yeah, good morning, Gassia. The situation kind of shaping up here. The line at TSA has got down, and most of the passengers that we've spoken to said, well, they're just kind of crossing their fingers and hoping for the best, but so far nothing wrong with their flights. As we take a look up at the big board, it's really cancellations across multiple airlines that we're seeing, but also as you kind of make your way down the list, it's about every 10 flights you go down the board that you see that dreaded word canceled. So kind of a mixed bag this morning. Right now, 36 cancellations at SFO, 41 delays. And as we know, as the day goes on, that number is only going to increase. It's now been 5 days since the FAA ordered a 10% reduction in air traffic across 40 airports, including SFO and Oakland International. The reason for the reduction in flights to help alleviate pressure on air traffic controllers who have missed a month's worth of pay, 41 days to be exact, because of the government shutdown. Many have turned to gig work, according to their union, some even deciding to sell their plasma. The National Air Traffic Controllers Association is holding a press conference right now. So we got that information from about their working conditions. Many controllers work mandatory overtime up to 6 days a week and 10 hours a day. We also heard that even if this deal that's being worked on holds, in 2019, when the government had it shut down, it took air traffic controllers 2.5 months to be made whole. So even if this deal goes through, it's still going to be a lot of time before they're paid the money that they're owed. Take a listen.
Now, they must focus on childcare instead of traffic flows, food for their families instead of runway separation. This is not politics. This is not ideology. This is the erosion of the safety margin the flying public never sees, but America relies on every single day.
Well, if you are considering alternative transportation, Amtrak is encouraging folks to book right now before they sell out. Last year, 1.2 million people traveled by rail during Thanksgiving. They also predict record-breaking travel this year in double-digit growth. Flexibus and Greyhound also anticipating increased demand with everything that is happening with the government shutdown over the Thanksgiving holiday travel. They say that they are prepared to add buses and increase demand in the regions where they need to. Reporting live at SFO, Devin Truby, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
All right, Devin, thank you. Time now 7:34, just into our KTVU newsroom. The Trump administration is renewing its effort to ask the Supreme Court to keep full SNAP payments frozen during the government shutdown. A judge ruled against the appeal by the White House as it tried to block a lower court ruling ordering the Trump administration to resume full payments. Just over the weekend, the White House warned that states could face harsh penalties if they don't comply with the latest court order. Lawyers say this is a tactic by the administration to get Democrats to concede and reach a government shutdown.
So to continue the fight is an interesting decision from a tactical perspective. Again, this is all really a part of a larger negotiations for purposes of voting to reopen the government. He absolutely should, to feed American families. He could just be like, I'm trying to feed you. You may not like it, or you may like it, but you guys should be fed. We'll figure it out later. But I don't want people to go hungry. And I think that'll serve not only him politically, but the 42 million Americans that need these funds to feed themselves.
Now, if the Supreme Court does not intervene, those payments could resume as soon as tomorrow.
Artificial intelligence continues to drive the tech industry and Silicon Valley. South Bay cities are adjusting to keep up with power demands and more. Also, San Jose has reached a new agreement to clean up land owned by Caltrans. Let's talk about this and more by welcoming, as we do every month, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Garcia. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to be with you. Let's start in North San Jose. It's the site of a proposed new data center and advanced manufacturing campus. What can people expect there as sort of AI moves in?
Yeah, well, San Jose is very lucky to have a lot of power capacity coming online. We have about 1,000 megawatts coming into the city through a new transmission line up in North San Jose. There are also hundreds of acres of undeveloped land near the wastewater treatment facilities. So it's a great location to enable our local economy to continue to grow without the negative impacts we sometimes see from data centers. There aren't any neighbors there to be inconvenienced, and it will help fuel the economy, those cutting-edge jobs of the future, but it also creates tax base. This project, once fully built out, will add over $30 million to the city's coffers each year. Those are funds we can use to hire police officers, pave roads, extend library hours. So we think this is a great project. It's about 400 megawatts worth of data centers, about 800,000 square feet of advanced manufacturing on totally underutilized land near 237 up by the freeway in North San Jose. We think overall it's a great opportunity for the city.
You know, next door in Santa Clara, there are a couple of big data centers that are waiting for ample electricity so they can come online. Are you certain San Jose has the capacity needed for the project?
We're in a very fortunate position in San Jose. CAISO, the state regulatory body, actually approved 2 new transmission lines into San Jose quite a few years ago. So we have 1,000 megawatts that are, as of yet, unused that are coming into the city, and then another 1,000 megawatts coming up, or a gigawatt coming up from South San Jose. So we'll have more power coming online in San Jose over the next 4 to 5 years than any other city in California, which is a tremendous opportunity for the city's economy. We want to make sure, though, that it goes to the highest and best use, to high-paying advanced manufacturing jobs, cutting-edge data centers and R&D labs. We want to ensure that the jobs of the future continue to be located here in the capital of Silicon Valley, and power is a big part of the equation.
Was there any talk to using some of that land there near 237 for housing, only because we talk about housing every single time we meet?
Right, and we're building a lot of housing. We've zoned for over 70,000 housing units in San Jose. This site is really not appropriate because it is right next to the wastewater treatment facility. Sometimes there are odors and noises. It's zoned for employment. Currently, it's just a big empty field. But given the location, It's close to landfills, wastewater treatment up in the north. It's actually the perfect place to put a bunch of servers that aren't going to complain about the kind of industrial feel of the area.
Okay. All right. So let's kind of stick with housing, shift a little. We'll move on to an agreement new that lets San Jose clear state-owned land to help clear freeway underpasses of homeless encampments. How is that effort going? And do you know, only because your city made headlines in the past year or so with now the ability for someone to be arrested if they repeatedly refuse available shelter, has anyone, in fact, been arrested, Mayor Mahan?
So let me take both questions there. On the first, we've been tired of waiting to be able to clean up land in our city if it's owned by other jurisdictions. The truth is, the public doesn't care if it's state land, county land, city land. They just want it to be cleaned up, as do we. Historically, when we've wanted to interstate lands, the approval process alone each time can take 6 weeks easily. And by then, an encampment can grow, accumulate a lot of trash, lead to fire risk and other issues. With this new agreement that we've just forged with Caltrans, San Jose can basically by right immediately enter 13 sites. So that we're piloting this on 13 on-ramps and off-ramps that have been most impacted, and we don't have to wait for 6 weeks to get permission to go in and do outreach, abatements, cleanup projects. So that is a good thing. I was just out at the first gateway with a bunch of volunteers, and we're excited to get to work because we think we can respond faster and better maintain these sites. On responsibility to shelter, we are seeing it working. What we are doing is offering people places to go repeatedly. We just cleared Columbus Park. We had almost 400 people out there. We were able to offer everyone individual interim housing or shelter. Most people said yes. Those who didn't were immediately abated from the site. We had a group of RVs that moved to another site that was private property. We abated them again. They moved again, and we said, guys, you've got to choose one of the viable options or we will continue to abate you. And if you're breaking any other laws, you will be prosecuted. And on the third time, they said yes, they accepted interim housing. So it's working. As I've always said, our goal is not to incarcerate, but it is to enforce our local laws and incentivize people to come into shelter.
Okay, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan, that's our time for now. I appreciate your joining us as you do every month.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. Time now 7:41. Still ahead, the 49ers dropped to 6-4 in their record, their first division loss of the season against the Rams. But we want to hear from you. Choke me up.
Andre Senior's here in studio. We're going to look at a question to our viewers on yesterday's results.
Yeah, Gussie, Dave, good morning to you both here. This morning we're asking your options here. What's your outlook for the rest of the 49ers season? Here are your options still in the game right here. Playoff hopes fading and better luck next year. 80% of you say playoff hopes fading, and the next up is still in the game. Right now, no one says better luck next year. Go to KTVU.com/vote. Let us know what you think.
All right. We've seen things happen in the past, but Andre's out of here.
He's out of here.
He's going to go check the poll numbers in the newsroom.
Hopefully not the 49ers as well. But as we go to break, take one more look at the poll. You can scan the QR code, top right corner of your screen. It'll take you to our poll.
It's time for Monday Morning Quarterback. The Indianapolis Colts and the Atlanta Falcons were in Germany. They treated international fans in Berlin to an overtime thriller. Colts running back could not be stopped. Jonathan Taylor ran all over the Falcons, scoring 3 touchdowns, 244 yards. That included the 83-yard jaunt into the end zone, the longest rush of his career. Then in overtime, he scored the game-winning touchdown. Just simply no answer for that guy, giving the Colts 31-25 win. Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams led a comeback from behind win against the New York Giants. Down 20-10 in the final frame, Williams scored twice, first on a passing touchdown with less than 4 minutes to go. Then, under 2 minutes, Williams uses his legs and scrambles for a 17-yard go-ahead touchdown. There we go. He is just going to run. No one stopped him. The Giants also have to monitor the rookie quarterback Jackson Dart, who left yesterday's game early after being evaluated for a concussion. And another fourth-quarter comeback, this one in Houston. The Texans led by backup quarterback Davis Mills, down 19 points against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mills guided his team on a 3 consecutive touchdown-scoring drives, and the Texans' defense did its job, completely shutting out the Jags. And this is the final play, final score, 36-29. What a collapse by the Jaguars.
All right, Sal, thank you. Time now, 7:46. President Trump is floating the idea of a 50-year mortgage.
Wow. I can't do the math just
yet.
Yeah,
I know.
Pam Cook probably has. She is here with a reaction to that, and she's tracking a reaction by Wall Street to this agreement that happened in Washington. There's a lot going on in dollars and cents.
Yes, there is. You know, a longer mortgage obviously adds a lot of interest, so it's quite an interesting proposal. But first, with the hope of an end to the government shutdown, the markets launched a rally right as the opening bell rang this morning. As the bell rang, the NASDAQ shot up more than 300 points, continued higher from there. As the shutdown continues, we're also talking about the problems at the airports. There's been a surge in demand for private jets and train tickets. Amtrak actually expects a record number of people traveling by train during the holidays to avoid all the craziness at the airport. All right, as we take a live look at the markets, the Dow Jones, a little bit of a gain, as you can see, less than 1/4%. The big winner, the NASDAQ, up almost 2%, 428 points there as those tech stocks recover quite a bit. And the S&P 500 up a full percentage point, up about 69 points there. Visa and MasterCard are close to reaching a settlement to end a 20-year legal battle. The retailers sued the two companies and some of the large banks, alleging that they hold a monopoly. Now, to resolve it, the Wall Street Journal reports the companies are proposing lower fees for stores that accept the cards and the power to reject certain cards. Now, for example, a store could reject a rewards card since those cards usually charge higher fees. Some real estate and financial experts promise to fight President Trump's plan to possibly introduce a 50-year fixed-rate mortgage. Now, the president floated the idea in a social media post over the weekend, saying a longer mortgage would lower monthly payments and make American homes more affordable. But critics say a 50-year mortgage would come with higher interest rates and would boost the cost of a home in the long run, keeping people in debt with a mortgage for a much longer period of time. Fast food chain Wendy's just announced it is closing hundreds of locations across the country. About 350 of the 6,000 locations will close. The company has not announced exactly which stores are closing. Analysts believe Wendy's has been losing business to rivals like McDonald's and Burger King, offering more deals, and Shake Shack offering a better experience. All three report an increase in earnings the last quarter. I'm Pam Cook. That's a look at your dollars and cents.
Pam, thank you. KTVU's annual One Warm Coat Drive is starting, and you can help make sure people in need stay warm this winter. If you're in the position to donate a new or gently worn coat, please scan the QR code on your screen now. You can also head to KTVU.com. We have a list of participating drop-off locations to make it easy for you. The One Warm Coat Drive runs until December 14th. I always say it's a win-win. You're helping your fellow Bay Area neighbors stay warm.
And cleaning out
your closet.
Yeah, it's a good idea. All right, Sal is here watching our commute. Hopefully everything's getting better as we move along. Sal?
Well, the Bay Bridge is recovering, which is good. I want to go right to it there, Dave and Garcia. The Bay Bridge toll plaza just seems to be moving better. So usually I just see how fast the cars are moving through. And if it's moving efficiently, sometime in the 8 o'clock hour, we're likely to see a clearing. I don't know. It looks pretty good to me, but that ramp over there on 880 still looks crowded, but I'm confident. San Mateo Bridge also looking better. And the good news is we haven't had any major things go on, and it's just kind of been a normal-looking commute. It's normally slow in all the usual spots, as including the South Bay. It's going to be slow getting into that West Valley. 7:50. What about today's weather? Here's Steve.
Sal, we'll look back to Sunday's weather because it was a warm one, especially in the Santa Clara Valley. Gilroy, 85. San Martin was 84. Morgan Hill was 83, by the way. Oakland, 82. Palo Alto was 82. Napa and San Jose, 81. Vallejo hit 80, and Alamo hit 80. The usual suspects like San Rafael, Concord, Livermore, Santa Rosa were in the upper 70s. So it was a little different twist yesterday, but it was warm for all. A lot of high clouds coming in. There might be a little bit of fog. Santa Cruz sneaking up here. But by the way, Daly City yesterday was 79 warm degrees. I think we're going to see mostly sunny skies here, but there is no doubt about it, offshore breeze. That's going to translate into some warm temps already. The city did dip to 59. Normal's 52. SFO 60 degrees. There's 40s, 50s. Look at Santa Rosa, Petaluma, and Santa Rafael. 47, 53, and 62. There's some big spreads there. 59, Alameda. Of course, Orinda, Kensington, and El Cerrito get that little offshore breeze. Lafayette, Walnut Creek, Alamo, Danville, Dublin get the 40s. So it just depends if you get that breeze or not. 30 in Truckee, 28 South Lake Tahoe. A lot of high clouds are on the way for tomorrow. You can see that moisture west-southwest of us. That's going to interact with the system coming out of the north. And as I posted on X/Twitter, it's like a recipe. If everything comes together, you'll get the desired results. It may go a little south, but it sure looks like rain's on the way here, and not just light rain, but moderate rain. It will be noticeably colder, that is for sure, which will help up in the mountains probably get their first good snow of the season. No November rain yet, but it's on its way late Wednesday into Thursday. Today, though, mostly sunny, 70s and 80s for temps. Tomorrow, though, we'll start to cloud it up. It'll still be okay. Then everything falls off the table, if you will, Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday. Saturday looks okay, not very warm. Then next system Sunday.
All right, Steve, thank you. Time now, 7:52. A family was caught right in the middle of an immigration raid while trying to do some grocery shopping. Up next at 8, we hear from the father who says his 1-year-old child was pepper sprayed by Border Patrol agents. And a shooting in San Francisco's Richmond district injured 5 people. 4 of them were minors. What we're finding out about that shooting near Ocean Beach. Welcome back to Mornings on 2 at 7:55. San Francisco police want your help in their investigation of a weekend shooting where 5 people were hurt. And 4 of the people hit by the gunfire were minors. It happened Saturday night near Ocean Beach in the outer Richmond district. Authorities say 1 adult was critically hurt. The 4 minors suffered minor injuries. A woman who lives there near Ocean Beach says the police were not prepared for this kind of gun violence.
We know the outer Richmond is considered the sleepy part of town, but we expect the same diligence from the city to be out here making sure things like this don't happen.
Now, investigators say there's no arrests so far in the case, and there's no word yet of a possible motive. The police want anyone with information about this shooting to get in contact with them immediately. Well, Oakland firefighters trying to figure out the cause of a fire at a vacant 2-story warehouse. It happened last night about 7 p.m. near 12th Street and 29th Avenue. The firefighters were able to put it out quickly before the flames could spread to other parts of the building. No one was hurt. The Golden Gate Bridge District is dropping a $163,000 claim against activists who blocked the bridge for hours back in April of 2024. KQED reports the Golden Gate Bridge District and other groups filed the claim to cover the estimated loss of total revenue after pro-Palestinian protesters shut down the bridge for almost 4 hours. It was the first time that bridge operators filed a claim for traffic disruptions, and that made some people believe that the protesters were being retaliated against for supporting Palestine. Time's now 7:57. San Mateo County residents can weigh in on who should be the new sheriff there. The Board of Supervisors is holding a public candidates forum tonight. The 3 finalists are on your screen here. Kenneth Bender, the interim chief of police for Gilroy, David Lazar, a former San Francisco police assistant chief, and Brian Win Travis, who is the chief of police for the Solano Community College District. The 3 candidates will be speaking tonight at a moderated forum. Questions that were previously submitted by community members will be part of that discussion. County supervisors will then select a new sheriff on Wednesday. Well, in San Francisco, Macy's Union Square kicking off the holiday season. Mayor Daniel Lurie will speak this evening during the tree lighting ceremony. The ceremony will also feature Big Sneha and Little Samantha from Big Brothers, Big Sisters of the Bay Area. They will be the honorary Great Tree Lighters. Now, beginning today, the 36th annual Macy's Great Tree will be on display at Union Square Park, starting today at 6 p.m. through January 1st. Also today, the city of Santa Clara and Santa Clara University will unveil a countdown clock to next year's FIFA World Cup. Now, the clock will be installed at Benson Memorial Center Plaza on the university's campus. City and school leaders say that clock represents a powerful symbol of Santa Clara's role in soccer history, as Levi Stadium will host one of the most watched sports competitions in the world. The first match, June 13th, 2026.
Well, good morning. A late-night breakthrough on Capitol Hill. Senators strike a deal that could reopen the government. Why the political fight is far from over this morning. And then.
Okay. You're okay, my
A father breaking his silence, calling for justice after an unexpected encounter with Border Patrol, while he says agents pepper sprayed his car while driving to get groceries. And honoring the life and legacy of a broadcasting pioneer will take you to San Francisco with the memorial happening today for Belva Davis.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Welcome to Mornings on 2 at 8 live at the Golden Gate Bridge this morning. We are coming off of a warm weekend across the Bay Area. From San Francisco all the way inland. If you were outside, you definitely felt it. The question is, will it continue today? Thanks for joining us. I'm Andre Sr.
I'm Gassia Mikhaelian. It's a busy Monday, November 10th, and weather is changing. We'll certainly feel it in the next couple of days. But Steve Paulson, we'll hang on to this warmth another day, won't we?
Yes, and yes to both of you.
Good.
That is correct. By the time we get to Friday, it'll be a dramatic, well, even Wednesday night, Thursday, but we're going to go from warm temps on the weekend and today. Warm and hazy are in town today, but rain and wind are on their way, and 70s and 80s will be replaced with 50s and 60s here. It'll be a mild to warm day, hazy and warm temperatures way above average today, especially Santa Clara Valley and anybody who gets that east-northeast breeze. So 50s, 60s, 40s, 50s, and 60s on the temp, almost 60. The city is 59. 78, 59 for the city. Average is 65, 52, way above on both. The record, 82, 1955. So maybe the city will be close, but I don't think they'll get there. Except for the higher clouds, we're good to go. There's a lot more on the way, though, starting tomorrow, and then massive changes here. Much colder, rain coming in, and that'll take us into Wednesday, Thursday, and other systems. Sunday, Monday, the statewide is looking wet between now and next week. No November rain yet, but it's on its way. Fair and warm today. One more day in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. Change starts tomorrow. All right, Sal's here, 8:01, Marin County.
You know, Marin, since you're such a nice guy, I'm going to dial that up.
You don't want to be a nice guy. You know.
I can dial that up for you. I was going to go to the Richmond Bridge, but why not? Marin, slow from just before 37 down to central San Rafael. And then we look at the Richmond Bridge getting to Marin. That's getting a little bit better. The Bay Bridge also improving a little bit, although it is still not cleared out. But I can just tell it's moving along pretty efficiently. And that San Mateo Bridge looks all right. If you're driving to the South Bay right now, all the South Bay freeways are pretty loaded up. 8:02, let's get back to the headlines.
Sal, thank you. The U.S. Senate tentatively approved a measure that could be the beginning of the end of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history.
Last night's vote was 60-40 and came during a rare weekend session in the U.S. Senate, but this vote was clearly not ended the political battle on Capitol Hill. 8 moderate Democrats joined Senate Republicans voting to advance a short-term funding plan that had already been approved in the House. The deal came together after Republicans agreed to a future vote of extending federal health care subsidies. That was the main sticking point in the stalemate, triggering that shutdown 41 days ago. However, many powerful Democrats strongly oppose the deal. That includes the newly elected senator from here in California.
The funding bill has nothing in it to help people afford their health insurance. That bill has nothing in it that's going to bring costs down. That bill has nothing in it that's going to make sure that people with pre-existing conditions can afford their health insurance.
The agreement reached last night ensures laid-off federal workers will get their jobs back and get back pay. It would also keep federal food assistance benefits funded through the next fiscal year. But one political expert says Senate Democrats gave up way too much following several weeks of political gridlock.
Given what the Democratic leaders were saying about we're going to fight for the Affordable Care Act subsidies. And what do they get for it? Well, we get the promise of a vote in December in the Senate and nothing else.
Well, later this morning, the U.S. Senate returns to Capitol Hill to take a final vote on this bill. If senators approve the measure, it would then head back to the House, a process that will likely take several days. Members of the House have been out of session since September 19th. House members have now been told to expect a vote this week. A possible vote by the House of Representatives is not the final step, though. President Trump would also have to approve the proposal before the federal government can officially reopen.
One of the main reasons for the government shutdown is the debate over the Affordable Care Act subsidies. If the subsidies expire at the end of the year, Americans could see their premiums rise sharply. The major spending bill Republicans passed in July strips all the subsidies from low-income legal immigrants. This means coverage could become too expensive for some 300,000 people. The subsidies allowed immigrants who are in the country legally to qualify for health care subsidies because some are barred from Medicare coverage for at least 5 years after arriving in the U.S. One Bay Area congressman is already demanding change at the top of the Democratic Party. South Bay Representative Ro Khanna posted on social media, Senator Schumer is no longer effective and should be replaced. If you can't lead the fight to stop health care premiums from skyrocketing for Americans, what will you fight for? Khanna is the first of the progressive wing of the party to call for Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to be replaced. Schumer voted no on the agreement with Republicans, but some progressives appear to blame him for the deal.
Well, families demanding action against Border Patrol agents who they say pepper sprayed them while driving to get groceries. The incident happened over the weekend at the Chicago Sam's Club parking lot. It unfolded at the same time that federal immigration agents were conducting operations nearby that led to tense clashes with protesters.
I had my window down. Basically, I got sprayed all over my face. I never knew my daughter got sprayed in her face. I'm not even looking at them. I'm going straight forward, trying to come out. They're looking out. They're spraying at everybody's cars. They spray from the beginning of my front of my car all the way to the back.
The incident happened just days after a federal judge tightened the rules regulating how immigration enforcement agents are allowed to employ use of force tactics against residents and journalists.
1-year-old baby shopping with her family, pepper sprayed at close range, not protesting, not chasing ICE vehicles, not fighting, not doing anything wrong, just shopping. In fact, they didn't even make it to shop.
We reached out to the Department of Homeland Security for comment and have yet to hear back about this. 8:06 is your time. The California Supreme Court ruling has upheld the law designed to protect the rights of gay and transgender people in the state's nursing homes. The court rejected a free speech challenge to the law that bans nursing home employees from using the wrong pronoun when addressing a resident or co-workers. It ruled workers at these facilities are not protected by the First Amendment because it involves conduct and not free speech. And using the wrong pronoun amounts to mistreatment of seniors in long-term health care facilities.
Happening today, a celebration of life for journalism pioneer Belva Davis.
The first African-American woman on air on the West Coast. KTVU's James Torres is live from Grace Cathedral, where a memorial for Davis is planned later this morning. James.
Good morning to you both. Belva Davis was 92 years old, but she passed away earlier this year. Today is now a chance to honor not just her life, but the legendary journalism career that she left behind with it. Now, Miss Davis began her TV in the 1960s with us here at KTVU, covering a beauty pageant at first. That's when she became one of the nation's first black women on air and the first on TVs on the West Coast. She often covered stories while simultaneously facing racism and discrimination. She worked for a number of Bay Area TV stations throughout her career and became well known for hosting This Week in Northern California, a program on KQED. When she passed, we spoke to some of her colleagues and closest loved ones who say Belva Davis was nothing short of a trailblazer.
And I like to say that Belva was not only a trailblazer for African-American women, but she was for all women on television. We all owe her a great debt of gratitude.
Miss Davis spent her final days with her husband of more than 60 years, their 2 children, as well as her grandchild. Her memorial is happening at Grace Cathedral. That starts at about 11 o'clock this morning, one of San Francisco's most iconic places of worship. And we will be streaming that service live. You can watch it on KTVU and on our Fox local app. We're live this morning in San Francisco. I'm James Torres, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
All right, James, thank you. It's 8:08, and we're going to start with the traffic now on Bay Area bridges, including the Bay Bridge. If you're driving to San Francisco right now, still about a 20-minute delay before you make it onto the span, but things are improving. It's looking good, although it's not as not as clear as it has been on some Mondays. This bridge also looks good, the San Mateo Bridge, and the Dumbarton Bridge hasn't been bad at all. You can see the South Bay commute is getting better, although it is still slow. 8:09, let's go back to the desk.
Stress mounting for travelers impacted by travel reductions. We'll take you to SFO with how the airport is taking the hit of the government shutdown.
Injuries catching up to the 49ers, how the head coach, Cal Shanahan, addressed the team after the loss, and whether fans are losing hope for a turnaround.
Jacoby & Myers has been a proud part of the California community since 1972. We've stood by our neighbors, helping hundreds of thousands of families get the justice they deserve. Whether it's fighting insurance companies or fighting for you in court, we'll stand up for you. At Jacoby & Myers, we know the stakes, your family, your health, your future. For over 50 years, we've been California's trusted name in legal care. If you've been injured, call us today at 1-800-5-MILLION, because you deserve justice.
Some of the top stories we're following. Protests are expected at UC Berkeley tonight as Turning Point USA holds its final stop of its tour at Cal. The event at Zellerbach Hall will also mark 2 months since Turning Point's founder, Charlie Kirk, was shot and killed during an event at a Utah university. UC Berkeley says there will be extra security on campus for tonight's event.
The Supreme Court rejecting a call to overturn the landmark decision that legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. The justices turned away an appeal from Kim Davis, the former Kentucky court clerk, who refused to issue marriage licenses after that 2015 ruling. The court did not explain why it denied the appeal.
Today, San Mateo County is holding a public candidate forum so residents can meet the finalists who want to be the next sheriff. The finalists are Kenneth Binder, the interim chief of police for Gilroy, David Lazar, former San Francisco police assistant chief, and Brian Nguyen Travis, chief of the police for Solano Communities College District. So supervisors say they'll pick a new sheriff on Wednesday. San Francisco's DA is investigating a police shooting that happened near Union Square. Officers say someone was bitten by a dog and flagged down police in the area of Market and O'Farrell. While trying to control an unleashed German Shepherd and its owner, one officer opened fire, hitting both the man and his dog. The man went to the hospital. The dog ran away and returned and bit one of the officers. Animal Control eventually took custody of the dog.
As I was shouting, "Don't shoot it, don't shoot it," I saw another guy over there saying, "Shoot it." So there was some other person involved who maybe had been attacked by the dog or something, I'm not sure. But ultimately, we were all standing there. The cop basically chased the homeless guy and the dog like 100, 200 yards that way. And we were all shouting, "Please don't shoot it." And then literally like 30 seconds later, we heard 2 gunshots.
The person who was bitten first went to the hospital for treatment. The officer who was bitten was treated there at the scene. 8:15 now, a tentative deal on Capitol Hill to end the government shutdown has not ended frustration at the nation's airports.
Right now, there are 3,000 delays and 1,900 cancellations at airports across the country. KTVU's Devin Truby joins us live from SFO with how things are looking there right now. Devin?
Yeah, good morning, Andre. We are here in Terminal 1, and let's take a look up at the big board, and we can see where it says canceled or delayed. As you make your way down, it's probably like 1 in every 10 flights on there listed has some sort of delay or cancellation. And even with this news of a possible deal, Delta Airlines is one of the airlines that's saying that they will continue to honor the planned FAA-directed flight cancellations through November 12th. So even if the government were to reopen immediately, some of the impacts will still be felt here at airports. The same can also be said for the air traffic controllers. Right now at SFO, there are 36 cancellations and 58 delays, as this has been 5 days since the FAA ordered a 10% reduction in air traffic across 40 airports, including SFO and Oakland International. The reason in the reduction to help alleviate the pressure on air traffic controllers, who have now missed 41 days without pay because of the government shutdown. Many have turned to gig work. The union also said in a press conference today that some are selling their plasma. The National Air Traffic Controllers Association also said in their press conference that many controllers are now working mandatory overtime. That's 6 days a week, 10-hour days. Right now, they are 3,800 air traffic controllers short, and 91% of facilities don't have the staff that they need.
We've heard from recent graduates of the air traffic control training in Oklahoma. They are resigning and cannot begin this challenging new career without a paycheck. We've heard from other air traffic controllers that are struggling to find ways to pay for gas and to get to and from work.
If you are considering alternative transportation, agencies like Amtrak are encouraging you to book right now before they sell out. Last year, 1.2 million people traveled by rail during Thanksgiving. They predict a record-breaking travel year again this year with double-digit growth. Flexibus and Greyhound are also anticipating increased demand with the issues with flights and potential government shutdown delaying throughout the holiday weekend. They said they are open to adding more buses and flexing the schedule in areas that show they need and have demand. Reporting live at SFO, Devin Truby, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Devin, thank you. It's 8:17. Right now, we're looking at a commute on the Richmond Bridge that's improving. I like where we're going with this one. It's getting better. It's not completely cleared out, but the line is shorter. It's backed up from Castro instead of Harbor. This hasn't quite improved, although we're thinking it will. Westbound Bay Bridge still backed up from the foot of the maze. San Mateo Bridge, though, has improved quite a bit on the way to the peninsula. And if you see, 680 is still slow out of Pleasanton near Bernal. 880 is slow beginning at 238 heading south. 8:18 now. Let's go back to Steve with today's weather.
Sal, another warm day. We'll take a look at temps from Sunday. And if you were in the Santa Clara Valley and said, man, it's warm, it was. Gilroy was 85, San Martin 84, Morgan Hill was 83. I can go farther south. Watsonville was 86, and Corralitos 89. Wow, that's not my forecast zone, but still. Oakland, Palo Alto, 82. Napa, San Jose, 81. Vallejo and Alamo both hit 80 degrees. Those are all the way, by the way, warmer than Livermore, Concord, and Santa Rosa. It happens sometimes in this kind of a pattern. Most of the higher clouds have thinned out. There'll be a mix of sun, high clouds, but there's no doubt about it. A pronounced east-northeast breeze, and that's going to soar temperatures. They'll go up pretty fast there with that offshore direction. 40s, 50s, 60s have given way now to 50s and 60s. I don't think it'll take long for some to warm up here. 64 Kensington, 64 Orinda, 63 El Cerrito. Yeah, we had upper 40s, now low 50s around Walnut Creek, Lafayette, and the 680 corridor. So there's some big differences on the temps, especially if you get that east-northeast breeze. 30s up in the mountains, had 20s, now they're 30s, Truckee, South Lake Tahoe. Clouds out to the west-southwest will begin to start moving in right up here tomorrow. That'll turn us cloudy, still mild. That low is going to be absorbed by another system racing across the Pacific. It all depends on where it sets up, but everybody's going to get in on some rain. It'll be noticeably cooler, especially Thursday into Friday. Could be a 1-2 punch here Wednesday night, Thursday, then again late Sunday, Monday for statewide rain. I've seen projections from Crescent City all the way to San Diego of 1 to 3 inch amounts. So for us today, though, no November rain yet, but it's on its way, but not until late Wednesday, Thursday. A few high clouds out there, but it'll be another warm day, 70s and 80s on the temps. This time of year, yes, others can be like Vallejo and can be warmer than Antioch and Fairfield. It's just that time of year. And clouds roll in Tuesday, and then late Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a big change, rain, wind, and much cooler temps.
Thank you, Steve. Coming up, the Niners will face the Arizona Cardinals on the road next weekend after San Francisco's first division loss of the season. The LA Rams defeated the Niners 42-26 at Levi's yesterday. It was a record-breaking day for Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford. He's now the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 4 touchdowns and no interceptions in 3 straight games. Coach Shanahan spoke after his team's loss.
Just told them, guys, it wasn't good enough. You know, as bad as it was at times, you know, I still believe if, you know, we convert that 4th and 1 in the first half and we don't turn it over on the other drive, it's a 2-score game, and I believe we're right in that. I told them I believe that we can find a way to win any game that we're in. But if we hurt ourselves like that, 7 penalties to 0, not getting off on 3rd down.
The Niners now have a record of 6-4. They're in 3rd place in the NFC West behind the Rams and the Seahawks. This morning, we're asking if your outlook for the rest of the Niners season is good. We see the largest group, 40%, are already looking ahead to next year, saying better luck then. The next 2 responses almost evenly split, but still in the game, edges out playoff hopes fading by just a handful. You can weigh in, make those numbers change to reflect your thoughts by heading to KTVU.com/vote or scanning the QR code there at the top right of your screen.
With EV tax credits gone, Tesla is testing out a new market, the move that allows drivers to experience those cars without the commitment.
KTVU's annual One Warm Coat Drive begins today, and you can help make sure people in need stay warm this winter. If you're able to donate a new or gently worn coat, scan the QR code on the screen or head to KTVU.com. You'll see a list of participating drop-off locations there. Our One Warm Coat Drive is now underway, and it runs until December 14th.
Time now is 8:24. Tesla offering a new way to drive one of its cars and charge it for free.
Pam Cook has that and reaction on Wall Street to an agreement underway in Washington in dollars and cents.
A lot of hope this morning that we will see the end of the government shutdown. That's what Wall Street is certainly hoping. The markets launched a rally right as the opening bell rang this morning. As the bell rang, the Nasdaq shot up more than 300 points, continued higher from there. As the shutdown continues to impact the airports, we've been talking about this. There's actually been a surge in demand for private jets and train tickets. Amtrak expecting a record number of people traveling by trains during the holidays to avoid the craziness at the airport. The FAA, though, limiting those private jets, making that announcement this morning at many of the airports across the country. As we take a live look at the numbers up across the board, the Dow Jones, well, it's fluctuating a little bit, down a little bit. It's been up a little bit in the last hour. The S&P 500 up 0.75%. The Nasdaq, the big winner today, it's come back from its earlier gains. About an hour ago, is up about 400 points, now still up about 315. Tesla is now offering a short-term car rental as the company tries to recover from falling sales. Sales first dropped earlier this year because of Elon Musk's work with the Trump administration and the Department of Government Efficiency. Then sales dropped again when the Trump administration ended those federal tax credits for electric car buyers. Right now, Tesla rentals are only being offered in San Diego and Costa Mesa. The cars can be rented for 3 to 7 days, with prices starting at about $60 a day, but those drivers can charge the car for free at supercharger locations. This morning, Verizon officially kicked off its big money corporate bond sale. The money raised would help Verizon pay for its planned acquisition of Frontier Communications, another giant in the telecommunications industry. The acquisition is viewed as a strategic move to expand Verizon's already huge fiber network across California, Texas, and the Midwest. And Visa and MasterCard are close to reaching a settlement to end a 20-year legal battle. The retailers sued the two companies and some of the large banks, alleging that they hold a monopoly. To resolve it, the Wall Street Journal reports the companies are proposing lower fees for stores that accept the cards and the power to reject certain credit cards. For example, a store could reject a rewards card since those cards typically charge higher fees. I'm Pam Cook. That's Look at Your Dollars and Cents.
Pam, thank you. Governor Newsom taking the global stage to talk about climate change, why he says it is getting harder for his state to protect the environment.
A wake-up call in San Ramon because the ground kept moving. We'll show you what's behind a recent cluster of earthquakes and how experts are tracking down the tremors during the government shutdown.
Hopefully it stops the delays and that things can ramp back up before the holiday season.
Even with reports of some agreement on Capitol Hill aimed at ending the government shutdown, there's a lot of concern about the nation's air travel picture becoming even more tangled. We'll get insight from a travel expert on what to do if you're considering booking and what happens if your flight is canceled. Then the back and forth legal battle over food aid continues this morning as the president's administration is heading back to the Supreme Court to freeze money that would help tens of millions of Americans feed their families.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Good morning and welcome back. I'm Gassia Mikhailian.
I'm Andre Sr. It's Monday, November 10th. We're coming off a warm weekend. Sunny skies outside, at least along the Oakland estuary. Let's check in with Steve Paulson this morning to see if that weekend weather continues into this Monday. Steve.
It does. Back to you.
Come on
thank
now.
you, Steve.
All right.
You know more than that.
We have sunshine today and warm temps. That is correct. And then a big change starts Wednesday night, Thursday into Friday, maybe even a week from today, Sunday night into Monday. We'll go from warm and hazy. You know, warm and hazy. They're in town. Rain and wind along with cold temps. This could be the first real good snow of the season up in the Sierra as well. Again, it's like a recipe, though. Everything has to come together. Mild to warm, hazy and warm. We'll be well above average on the temps today, and it is mostly clear out there. There were a lot of high clouds. A lot of those have thinned out. I think we're good to go here. 50s, 60s almost on the temps here. It won't take long to start warming up. There's an offshore breeze. That moisture to the west-southwest, that's going to be painting us with a lot of cloud cover tomorrow. And then a stronger system arrives late Wednesday, Thursday for what looks to be statewide rain. And it looks pretty good for all here. No November rain yet. It'll be hazy sunshine on your Monday. One more day near 80 degrees, and then temps will start to cool down tomorrow. They'll really take a tumble as we head to Wednesday and Thursday, but 70s and 80s today. Let's go back to the news now with Andre and Gassia.
All right. Thank you so much, Steve. Up to 10% fewer flights are arriving and departing at 40 major U.S. airports, with air traffic controllers and TSA staff working without pay. Delays continue to spike. Even if a deal is reached, uncertainty remains for those whose flights got canceled due to reductions. For insight on what travelers should know if their plans are being impacted by the shutdown, or if you're hoping to book a trip, we're joined now by Lindsay Schwimmer, a consumer travel expert at Hopper. Lindsay, thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, so Lindsay, this is only expected to get worse. Tomorrow, more flights are going to be pulled back. What is your advice now for travelers as they either get ready to travel because they still have to, or are planning to travel throughout this week?
Yeah, we're seeing thousands of flights still being delayed and canceled across the U.S. At major airports. If you already have flights booked, check your airline's policies. Many airlines are proactively waiving cancellations and issuing refunds. So before you go, know what's going to be covered.
Lindsay, we said a moment ago that TSA agents are also not getting their paychecks, in addition to air traffic control agents that work up in the tower. But as far as getting through those TSA lines at airports, are you seeing that problem with longer lines at airports getting through TSA at this point?
Definitely. If you're heading to the airport, you're going to want to give yourself enough time to get through security and check into your gate. Give yourself ample time to get there. If you can, book the first flight of the day. We see delays ripple throughout the remainder of the day. So if you can fly out first thing, that's going to be your best bet. If you haven't booked travel yet and you're planning to travel over the Thanksgiving and Christmas period, what we recommend at Hopper is adding disruption assistance, which we offer on Hopper, as well as several airlines and credit card travel platforms. Disruption assistance, when you book with that plan, you're able to rebook your flight. If you're canceled, delayed, you miss a connection, you can rebook on any carrier and get yourself out on the next flight available. So if you are booking upcoming trips, whether that's in the coming weeks or for that Thanksgiving, Christmas period, you're going to want to add disruption assistance to foolproof your plans.
All right. So tomorrow, we are expecting reductions to go up by 6% at dozens of airports. And of course, they're going to reach that 10% mark by Friday. Have you ever personally seen anything at this level covering, travel, air travel, as long as you have?
This is pretty unprecedented. We are seeing continued delays and cancellations sweep nationwide. Travelers should be prepared. Give yourself enough time to get to the airport through security. And again, check your airline's policies. Many airlines are waiving those cancellations, issuing refunds due to these unprecedented times.
Is there a way to plan your trip to avoid the airports where, you know, you have a lot of connections like Hartsfield-Jackson or O'Hare Airport, which are major destinations for transfer flights? How do you propose someone organize their trip if they can avoid certain things to maybe lessen their chances of being delayed?
Definitely. If you can book direct flight, that's going to be your best bet right now, especially for that busy Thanksgiving and Christmas period. Adding disruption assistance so that if you are delayed or canceled or miss a connection due to those connecting flights, that way you can rebook on any airline regardless of carrier and get yourself out on the next flight. But going direct is going to be the way right now.
All right. And any last words that you want viewers to know as they're watching this and they're thinking about booking or are getting ready to head out to the airport?
If you're booking for that holiday period, you're going to want to book as soon as possible. Flights are going to be changing. Schedules are going to be changing over the coming weeks. You're going to want to have those holiday flights locked in and make sure that you can get to your destination and on the routes that are desired for that busy holiday period.
All right. Lindsay Schwimmer, consumer travel expert at Hopper. Thank you for joining us and providing your insight this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
One union representative for TSA agents says those workers are increasingly stressed over not being paid during the government shutdown.
We know for a fact that almost on a daily basis, people are quitting because they cannot afford it. They have to take other jobs on to make a living. When you go to Fry's, when you go to Walmart, when you go to Safeway or Albertsons, any of them, right? You go to check-in line. Are they going to take a letter as a payment? No.
The union rep says many TSA workers are calling out sick because they no longer have money to pay for gas to drive to work.
There is new uncertainty surrounding the funding of federal food benefits after a federal appeals court ruled the full SNAP benefits must be paid for the entire month. This comes after the Trump administration ordered states to stop issuing full benefits to Americans on Friday. The Supreme Court also put a temporary pause on full payments. The USDA is warning states could face harsh penalties if they do not comply with the latest court order. Lawyers say this is a tactic by the administration to get Democrats to concede and reach an agreement to end the government shutdown.
So to continue the fight is an interesting decision from a tactical perspective. Again, this is all really a part of a larger negotiations for purposes of voting to reopen the government. He absolutely should, to feed American families. He could just be like, I'm trying to feed you. You may not like it, or you may like it, but you guys should be fed. We'll figure it out later. But I don't want people to go hungry. And I think that'll serve not only him politically, but the 42 million Americans that need these funds to feed themselves.
Lawyers say there is precedent of using funds from the Appropriation Act for SNAP and other programs as well. At 8:38, Governor Gavin Newsom is attending a global climate summit in Brazil this morning. The governor is trying to show global leaders California is still cutting emissions despite President Trump's push away from climate initiatives. The Trump administration planned not to attend the Brazil talks or the United Nations convention happening also today. Global leaders are not happy about the U.S.'s absence, but Governor Newsom says California is still committed to global climate agreements.
That today is being challenged by the Trump administration that is doing everything to put America in reverse, to do everything to vandalize California's leadership in this space. And they've been reasonably successful in 9.5 months to put a lot of sand in the gears. That said, we continue to persist and we continue to thrive despite that.
Governor Newsom also argues Trump's policies are hurting competitiveness for the U.S. China's investment into clean energy is likely to advance their tech among multiple sectors.
There were no reports of any damage after a swarm of minor earthquakes rattled the East Bay in and around San Ramon. USGS reports the quakes began shortly after 9:30 yesterday morning and continued for more than an hour. In all, there were several dozen. The largest was a 3.8. People felt light shaking in Danville, Dublin, and beyond.
Windows were shaking, the flowers were shaking. My husband ran in from the other room and was like, "Did you guys feel that?" So yeah, it was a big one.
Seismologists say the series of quakes hit on the Calaveras Fault.
the significance of a cluster of small earthquakes like this is probably just that it's a reminder that it is an active fault. The odds are very low that these are force shocks for a major earthquake.
The quake expert says he's far more concerned about the nearby Hayward Fault, considered one of the most dangerous fault lines in the world. Seismologists say that Hayward Fault is overdue for a large earthquake.
Activists who blocked the Golden Gate Bridge for hours in 2024 are scoring a win in court, the latest on a claim against the protesters.
It's time for Monday Morning Quarterback. The Indianapolis Colts and the Atlanta Falcons treated international fans in Berlin to an overtime thriller. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor, there was no answer for him, right? He ran all over the Falcons, scoring 3 touchdowns, 244 yards. That included an 83-yard jaunt into the end zone, the longest rush of his career. Then in overtime, Taylor scored the game-winning TD, and the Colts win it 31-25. All right, Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams led a comeback from behind against the New York Giants. The Giants just couldn't stop anyone at the end. They're down 20-10 in the final quarter. Williams scored twice, first on a passing touchdown with less than 4 to go. Then under 2 minutes, look, he's just going to keep the ball himself. A 17-yard scramble. He goes into the end zone for the touchdown. And final score of that game, 24-20. The Giants have to keep an eye on their rookie quarterback, Jackson Dark, who left yesterday's game and is now in the concussion protocol. All right. And another fourth quarter comeback, this one in Houston. The Texans, led by backup quarterback Davis Mills, down 19 points against Jacksonville. Mills guided his team on 3 consecutive touchdown-scoring drives. And the Texans defense held up, completely shutting out the Jags. And look, getting the strip sack, score to end the game. Kind of like a strip search. The final score there, 36, and he's happy, 36-29.
All right, thank you so much, Sal. Some of the top stories are falling for you. President Trump giving pardons to several people involved in alleged plots to overturn the 2020 election. U.S. pardon attorney Ed Martin said on social media, President Trump is pardoning 72 people, and the list includes former Trump lawyers Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell, former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and more. It does not include a pardon for Trump himself. Many of the people listed are also charged in the state case in Georgia, which is not covered by a federal pardon.
Police in San Francisco say an officer shot and injured a man and his dog after the dog reportedly bit someone. It happened not far from Union Square yesterday afternoon. While trying to control an unleashed German Shepherd and its owner, one officer opened fire, hitting both the man and the dog. While the owner went to the hospital, the dog ran away, then returned and bit an officer. Animal Control eventually took custody of the dog.
President Trump says he is weighing the idea of issuing $2,000 checks to Americans paid for from revenues generated by his global tariffs. His payments is part of his defense of trying to keep the tariffs intact as the U.S. Supreme Court decides if he exceeded his powers by ordering the tariffs without legislative approval.
NASA researchers are pushing back on the Trump administration's recent cuts to the space program. NASA's planning to cut missions that track climate change by monitoring greenhouse gas emissions. During the Trump first term, he wanted NASA to focus on laying the groundwork to build a permanent colony on the moon. Now the administration wants to cancel the Artemis program, which could cost a number of jobs along Florida's Space Coast.
Sort of like in the situation where we knew the shuttle was ending. So if the SLS program, the Artemis and Orion programs are all ending after one launch after this next upcoming one, then clearly there's people that are going to have to find other opportunities, hopefully in the space industry and hopefully here in Florida.
The Trump administration still wants to colonize the moon and says it will increasingly rely on private companies to do it.
Well, the recent chaos at the nation's airports could mean a record number of people taking the train this holiday season. Amtrak is already reporting a big increase in ridership due to the recent flight cancellations tied to the shutdown, and it's predicting ridership for this Thanksgiving holiday will surpass the record 1.2 million passengers who took Amtrak last year. And many business travelers say they're taking Amtrak to avoid the stress at airports.
The lost time, if we are stuck in an airport for multiple hours or have a delay, cancellation, and just not being able to, actually do our job.
If Congress passes a bill to reopen the government, it's unclear how that will affect travel leading to Thanksgiving holiday.
San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan touted a plan for a major AI hub in his city this morning. North San Jose near Highway 237 is the site of a proposed new data center and advanced manufacturing campus, one that could add many well-paying jobs and tens of millions of dollars to the city's fund every year. Mayor Mahan told us that he's confident San Jose can meet the huge power demands of a new AI facility.
We're in a very fortunate position in San Jose. CAISO, the state regulatory body, actually approved 2 new transmission lines into San Jose quite a few years ago. So we have 1,000 megawatts that are, as of yet, unused that are coming into the city, and then another 1,000 megawatts coming up, or a gigawatt coming up from South San Jose. So we'll have more power coming online in San Jose over the next 4 to 5 years than any other city in California.
Mayor Mahan said the city is also making progress in its effort to find shelter for those who are unhoused, following an agreement that allows San Jose to clear state-owned land, such as the area under freeway overpasses.
What we are doing is offering people places to go repeatedly. We just cleared Columbus Park. We had almost 400 people out there. We were able to offer everyone individual interim housing or shelter. Most people said yes. Those who didn't were immediately abated from the site.
California will partially reimburse cost of encampment cleanup on state-owned land up to $400,000. The mayor said through repeated outreach, those who've been forced to move eventually accept shelter. Thousands of survivors of the Palisades fire in Southern California are suing the city of Los Angeles and the state of California. The January firestorm destroyed thousands of homes and businesses. Investigators say the Palisades fire started 6 days before the eventual firestorm. There was a smaller fire burning on New Year's Day. Fire crews rushed to the area and said it was fully contained. Those who filed the $10 billion class action lawsuit say it wasn't fully contained and that things were overlooked.
We are living the aftermath, and we've seen it, unfortunately, firsthand with a lot of kids who have their own form of trauma.
28-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht is accused of starting the initial smaller brush fire New Year's Day. The LA Fire Department said firefighters put it out that same day. According to text messages obtained by the LA Times, a battalion chief ordered crews to pack up and leave January 2nd. Some firefighters warned that was too soon, even texting their boss it was a bad idea. A federal grand jury has subpoenaed those messages.
Veterans Day is officially tomorrow, but San Francisco had a head start on celebrations. Well, the city held a holiday parade yesterday along the waterfront. Marching bands, color guards, and veterans groups from across the Bay Area gathered to honor veterans and their service to the nation.
It's great that the city comes out and honors us. There's a long military history in San Francisco Bay Area, so that's awesome.
Well, the parade started all the way back in 1919 to honor service members in the city. One regiment had just come home from France at the end of the First World War.
It's 8:50. Things are beginning to improve on the commute for sure. Let's go out and take a look at the Richmond Bridge. It looks like it's still crowded, but the backup isn't nearly as long. Same for the Bay Bridge. We're beginning to see some improvement, and if you wait a little bit longer, it'll probably improve that much more. The San Mateo Bridge has already improved quite a bit. As you look at some of these commutes, they're on the tail end, especially 680 and 880. At 8:50, let's bring Steve back in with today's weather.
Sal, I watched that Giants-Bears game. If Dart doesn't get the concussion, I think the Giants win that game.
At the end, it's like, can you stop the Bears?
Couldn't stop him. Couldn't stop him. Give the Bears credit for coming back, but he's a good-looking quarterback there. All right, 80s on the temps here. 85 Gilroy yesterday, San Martin 84, Oakland, Palo Alto, Napa, San Jose, Vallejo, and Alamo 80 to 82 warm degrees, probably similar today. It looks pretty, most of the high clouds have thinned out. I think we're good to go for sunshine, but hazy and warm, a little bit of haze there, inversion aloft, warm air aloft. The higher clouds are not far away. They're knocking on the door. Come on in, but not yet. You can come in a couple more hours there. But you can see there, even some fog is trying to, but when you get that offshore direction, that's going to shoot temperatures up. And we'll have sunshine and warm temperatures today, but a rapid change Wednesday night, mainly Thursday and Friday, and possibly all the way into Monday is kind of the way it's looking. Wet pattern returns, wind and cooler, also snow in the Sierra. This could be the best snow so far of the young season up there. And heavy rains likely, but not only north, I think maybe Santa Cruz Mountains. There's just a lot going on here, so we got a couple days to fine-tune it. Already 63 in Half Moon Bay, which is warmer than Brentwood, 62. How about that? Don't see that all the time. Some mid-60s, though, will pop up here pretty fast. 20s, 30s, mainly 30s now up in the mountains. That moisture to the west-southwest is going to start moving in here tomorrow. It'll still be dry tomorrow and mild, but it's going to turn mostly cloudy. So a warm Monday gives way to changes. 70s and 80s today, but get ready. Rain returns late Wednesday, for sure Thursday into Friday, and you'll notice a big drop in the temps, you guys.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. It is 8:52. Your ballot may be at the center of a Supreme Court showdown. When you join us on the 9, Half Scouts will now weigh in on mail-in ballots and what it means for voters nationwide. Time now is 8:55. San Francisco police asking for the public's help in their investigation into a weekend shooting that injured 5 people. Officers say 4 of those hit by gunfire were minors. It happened Saturday night near Ocean Beach in the Outer Richmond district. Authorities say 1 adult was critically injured. The 4 minors suffered minor injuries. One woman who lives near Ocean Beach says she believes police were not prepared for this type of gun violence.
We know the Outer Richmond is considered the sleepy part of town, but we expect the same diligence from the city to be out here making sure things like this don't happen.
Investigators say there have been no arrests in this case, and there is no word yet of a possible motive. Police are asking anyone with information on the shooting to contact them right away. San Mateo County residents can weigh in on who should be the next sheriff. The Board of Supervisors is holding a public candidate forum tonight. The 3 finalists for the position are Kenneth Binder, the interim chief of police for Gilroy, David Lazar, a former San Francisco police assistant chief, Brian Wynn Travis, who is chief of police for the Solano Community College District. Now, their 3 candidates will speak at a moderated forum tonight. Questions that were previously submitted by community members will be part of the discussion. County supervisors will then choose a new sheriff on Wednesday.
The Golden Gate Bridge District is dropping a $163,000 claim against activists who blocked the bridge for hours back in April of 2024. KQED reports the Golden Gate Bridge District and other groups filed the claim to cover the estimated loss of toll revenue after pro-Palestinian protesters shut down the bridge for about 4 hours. It was the first time bridge operators filed a claim for traffic disruptions.
California forests have a unique labor crisis right now. The state needs to collect tens of thousands of seeds to regrow trees hit by wildfires, but there aren't enough workers brave enough to climb those trees. These jobs often require workers to climb 100 to 300 feet in search of small pine cones. These pine cones contain hundreds of seeds that fill the state's seed banks and nurseries. Right now, there are only a few dozen professional tree climbers in the state responsible for collecting nearly 56,000 Bushnell or pine cones.
The California Air Resources Board reports our state's greenhouse emissions are down by 3% year over year. It's about the same as removing more than 2.6 million gas-powered vehicles from California's roads for a year. The report says it's the 3rd largest drop since the state started tracking emissions back in 2000. While promising, the number is still short of the state's goal of significantly reducing CO2 emissions by 2030. Caltrain says it's moving ahead with a cost-cutting plan to help reduce a growing budget deficit. The Bay Area's commuter rail line says it plans to drop its discount for Clipper card users that had been in effect for the past 13 years. It's also considering more fare increases and possible service cuts. Caltrain says it's still losing money, despite a recent surge in ridership in its now electric trains due to rapidly rising costs.
Today, the city of Santa Clara and Santa Clara University unveiling a countdown clock to next year's FIFA World Cup. The clock will be installed at Benson Memorial Center Plaza on the university's campus. City and school leaders say the clock represents a powerful symbol of Santa Clara's role in soccer history as Levi Stadium hosts one of the most watched sporting competitions in the world. The first match is June 13th, 2026. More than 400,000 visitors expected to pack into Levi's for the 6 matches. Today, San Jose Sharks legend Joe Thornton will receive the highest individual honor in hockey. The induction ceremony will be held in Toronto for 7 people, including Jumbo Joe. He scored 430 goals in his NHL career. More than half was with the Sharks. He's the team's all-time leader in assists, 2nd in goals, and 3rd games played as well. We'll be right back. Mornings on 2. The night starts in just 60 seconds. Stay with us.